Amazon advertising PPC is quite complex thing. And in this session, you will learn how you can streamline this complex thing more efficiently with bulk files and strategic keyword planning. My guest today will be two great PPC advertising experts, Christian Kelm and Elizabeth Green. And we will have them presenting two different pieces of presentations. But before we move on to the content, I wanted to mention that this session is sponsored by two great companies, the Kitida, which is the global leader of Amazon FBA reimbursements and auditing solutions for sellers. And if you need help to get an audit and see where Amazon might be owing you money, check them out. You will find the link below in the description. Another company sponsoring this session is VAA Philippines, which is providing virtual assistant services for e-commerce sellers. No matter if you sell on Amazon, Walmart, if you need part-time, full-time assistance, check them out in the link description, in the link in the description, and they will be happy to help you. And this session is part of the Seller Fest virtual event, which we are hosting together with 40 Amazon experts. And we are celebrating this event because, we are running this event because we are celebrating 20,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. And let's invite now our two experts. Hello, Elizabeth, and hello, Christian.
Good evening to you. Hello.
Hi. So let's start with short introductions and then we will jump to the presentation. So Elizabeth, please let us know what you do and how do you help Amazon sellers.
Hey, yes. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. First off, thank you so much for having me, and mad props on the 20,000 subscribers. I know that's not easy, especially with like niche content in the Amazon space. So definitely applaud you on that. So hey, my name is Elizabeth Green. I'm one of the co-founders of an Amazon advertising agency called Jungler. We focus on helping seven-figure founder-led brands by developing business-centric ad strategies that help them get them where they want to go in a way they want to get there.
Great, thank you. And now Christian Amalais.
Hello together. Yeah, that is the typical German.
We can say it's German when they say together. Yeah.
I will let that happen every time I have an English podcast or presentation. My name is Christian Kelm from Analyze. I'm working on the Amazon systems, tools, agency, Seller Central, Vendor Central since 10 years. And our main idea is to build better decisions by better data. So we are a software as a service that helps you to make better decisions.
Amazing. And we already see Natalia from UK is tuning in. Wizardy says, hello, Chris, wie geht's? So,
Sehr gut.
I think you met this guy in a European Seller Conference last March. And I think we will not waste time. And let's jump to the first. We will hear presentation by Elizabeth, and then later Christian will join. And afterwards, we will have Q&A with both experts. So thank you, Christian. See you later. And Elizabeth, we see your screen. So let's do it.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into it. So I'm entitling this a zero-cost method to managing Amazon ads at scale. So for context, we manage several large clothing brands, which, as you can imagine, has immense complexity associated with that. So how in the world do you manage something with that many moving pieces to it? Now, when you hear a lot of complexity and Amazon ad management, you might think that there's only two options. One of them being Ad Console. Surprising how many people are still doing things only manually these days, right? Or if you think managing things at that large scale, that's ridiculous, we need to use software. I'm not against software. I think software is a great thing to leverage, but there is a third option. And that third option is called bulk operations. Now, my goal with this presentation is to help take things off your plate, make it easier to manage your ads in a way that is more efficient so you don't have a continuous things of piling up. Because there are those things in your ad account that, let's be honest, you should be getting to them, but you don't. Things like adding negative keywords. We all know we should add negative keywords. However, a fully automated solutions here oftentimes fall short, but doing things manually, super tedious. You can use bulk files for this. Adjusting placement percentages. We all should be going through, we all should be analyzing this. It takes a lot of time, especially if you're trying to get to it in the ad console. Things like pausing underperforming ASINs. So if you have a whole lot of variations on a listing, you should be going through and analyzing which of those is performing best, put your best foot forward in ads, renaming old campaigns, and the list goes on. So my goal with this presentation is to show you how bulk files can fit within a system that you're already managing from. Because when everyone hears bulk files, if you've run into them, most times people think that they're only good for adjusting bids or launching campaigns. But what nobody realizes is that there is a heck ton of potential when it comes to leveraging bulk files. So my goal is to show you how these can be used, because bulk operations can be your superpower if you know the possibilities. So you might have heard this. This might be your first time hearing about bulk files, and you might ask me, Elizabeth, sounds awesome. What the heck is a bulk file? So glad you asked. All right, bulk files are essentially, the way I like to describe them to hopefully make sense to those of you listening, is a three-dimensional view of your ad account condensed into a two-dimensional view inside of a spreadsheet. What do I mean by three-dimensional and two-dimensional? Well, think of your ad account. You go in, you view everything, you see all of your campaigns. It's great. You click into the campaign, see all the ad groups, you can click into placements, you can click into the campaign settings. All of this information has to be gone to another dimension to be able to find it. Well, the beauty of bulk files is that all of this is viewable in one continuous view if you know what you're doing and how to use them. And this actually can be beneficial just for analysis purposes, because oftentimes inside of even software, and I completely get why they organize it this way, but you still have to click often to view all your campaigns, and you can view all the ad groups, and you can view all the targets. What if I told you that there was a single spreadsheet you could download that had every single thing in your entire ad account inside of it? That's what a bulk file is. And it's right in your account for the low price of absolutely free, which is amazing. That is my favorite price. Now, the problem with bulk files and why everyone will hear something about bulk files, think it's amazing, go in to use them, and completely lose their head is because there is something called formatting. You can think of, if you're familiar with flat files or you know the concept of flat files, think of bulk files as the flat files of the Amazon world, Amazon ad world specifically. Well, with flat files, there's a learning curve. I'll be honest, there's a learning curve. And when I first got into the wonderful world of bulk files, I was blown away by the possibilities. And my brain also hurt when I was trying to figure out how the heck do you use them? And so that is what I'm going to be walking you through today, is step by step how to take action on the things that you probably are not doing inside of your ad account. And so there's two things in the formatting that I want to go over first before we get into the nuts and bolts of that. And these two things, if you understand them, will bring you up to speed super, super quick on the formatting of a bulk file to help make sense of everything really fast. The first one of those is called the entity column. What's an entity column? Well, if you download a bulk file, we're going to go through how exactly where in your account to go through, what to click on, how to download it. You will open it up, and if you go to one of the tabs, you're going to see this thing called an entity column. What is this? If you understand the entity column, you are going to get up to speed lightning quick on what actually is contained within your bulk file, because the entity column tells you what dimension of your ad account you are looking at. So you can see here where this entity column says campaign. This means that all of the information that is contained on this row is pertaining to this campaign. Things like, what portfolio is this campaign in? What is the campaign name? Is this campaign active? When was it launched? What is the budget? All of those informational pieces will be found on this row on the campaign. Here we can see where it says bidding adjustments. Bidding adjustments are your placement percentages. So this is going to show us all the placement percentages inside of this campaign. Add product ads. This is all the information on your product. What is the SKU that's being advertised? Is the SKU active or inactive? All of these informational pieces. And so you can see here how you, again, just this piece for analysis purposes can be very, very beneficial, because instead of having to click into different dimensions and find things, you can quickly sort and filter and get to the dimension you need to look at to be able to analyze your account. That's the entity column. If you get that, you're going to go 75% of the way to understanding bulk files. Now, the second thing I want to go over, because this is going to appear time and time and again, when you want to use a bulk file to make changes in your account, is this thing called the operations column. Now, for those of you familiar with the old 1.0 version of bulk files, the operations column was a new update in the 2.0 version. And nobody really understood, and this tripped up a lot of people. So if you've been using 2.0 for a while, you probably understand this. If this is your first foray into it, the operations column is going to be used when making changes to your ad account using a bulk file. And again, that's what we're going to be walking through, is how to use it to make changes that you probably aren't doing in your account. All right, there is 2 operations that you need to be familiar with, because there's only really 2 that you want to use. There is a third one. I'm not going to talk about it because I never use it and I don't recommend you do. So the first one is called update. The update is going to be used when you are updating something that already exists within your ad account. And also, when you are putting an operation, you want to make sure that the operation you put is on the specific line or on the entity in which you want to make changes to. If you upload a bulk file and you do not have an operation specified in the upload, it doesn't matter if all of those other items are in your bulk file. You will not have any changes made to them, even if you like accidentally bumped a different number or something. As long as you only put the operation on the lines where you want to make those changes, you're already good. So what's the second operation? That is create. Create is used when you are adding something to the account. So think of you are making something that does not currently exist inside of your ad console. So if it exists, you want to change it, update. If it does not exist, you use create. And with that, let me walk you through the wonderful and beautiful world of bulk files and how you can use them to operate at scale, because I want you to know the possibilities for using bulk files are endless. And because I had to fit this presentation, I actually had to take out a couple of additional things. So I'm going to give you some resources that you can dive into this wonderful world if you think it's going to benefit you. But these are the things that we're going to be doing. And for a lot of these, I tried to pick things that either a lot of people don't have scalable ways to do, or for a lot of them, software actually doesn't currently have a really good scalable solution for this. So again, this can fit within whatever current management structure you have, and simply tack on as an extra tool in your toolbox. So first one, renaming of campaigns, right? Campaign names are a mess. This is always something that's really difficult, especially in new accounts. You're staring down the barrel of manually renaming over 100 plus campaigns. What do? Bulk files to the rescue. All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to download a bulk file. So you're going to go into your ad console. You're going to click on this option. You're going to go to bulk operations. And then this little view right here will be seen on your screen, and you will do 2 things. You'll select the date range. Now, the date range is going to specify what performance metrics are going to be located or is going to be included inside of the bulk file. So for renaming of campaigns, it might not matter to you because you might not want to do any sort of analysis. You're simply going to rename it. If you want to do an analysis, make sure you select date range. It's going to make sense for that analysis. Now you want to make sure you check. So yeah, you're going to select that, and then you're going to check This by default is unchecked, this campaign items with 0 impressions. You want to make sure that is checked. If that is unchecked, anything that does not have impressions within whatever date range you specified is not going to be included in your account. So remember what I told you that a bulk file is your entire ad account in the spreadsheet. If you don't check this box, that's not going to be true. So make sure you check it. Now, the other things that you could check is sponsored products, sponsored brands, multi-ad groups, or sponsored display data. This will allow us to see all of different ad types and then rename campaigns for all of those ad types. If, say, you only wanted to do a sponsored product ad renaming, you could just select sponsored product ads. The less data in this file, the less time it takes to generate. So once you're done with that, create spreadsheet for download and download your report. You'll see a little option below that download request. It will show loading and you will see a little blue download button when that is created. All right, here's what you do to rename campaigns. It is insanely simple and it is marvelous. Remember the entity column? So you're going to select the tab of whatever ad type you want to rename. You're going to filter the entity column to show campaign or ad group. You can rename a campaign and you can also rename an ad group. Then all you have to do is in this campaign name or this ad group name column, you're simply going to put the new name of whatever the campaign you want. And then from there, we are going to the operations column. Remember this, you're going to see this a lot. We're going to put update. Remember, we are making a change to something that already exists. And when we are done with that, all we have to do is upload it. We're going back to bulk operations, choose file, selecting it from our computer, and then uploading. And then all of those changes will be made in our account. Much faster than doing it manually. All right, we got through one. Let's get through the other ones. So this is another one. Pausing underperforming ASINs. So you're advertising all of your products. It's been a while since you lost the product. You know you should be analyzing which variations work best, right? But that's really difficult to do at scale. So again, bulk operations to the rescue. All right, so here, back to bulk operations. Here you're going to want to do some analysis. So I recommend selecting a reasonable window to do so, maybe last 30 days. Again, selecting campaign items with 0 impressions. Here you can select sponsored products and just display ads because you can't actually pause ASINs in sponsored brand ads through bulk files. All right, now we're going to select the tab. We're going to go to sponsored product tab. We're sorting our entity. Again, we're filtering it by product ad because those are the SKUs that are active. Then you can look at, there are these campaign name informational only, ad group name informational only, portfolio name informational only. That tells you what campaign, what ad group, and what portfolio these products are being advertised in, which can be helpful for the analysis. And then you can see the SKUs here. So under this column SKU or ASIN informational only, it will tell you what the actual product is that's being advertised. And then on these lines, you will also see a bunch of performance data. So you probably want to look at things, what has a lot of clicks, what has no sales. Here we can see one where there's 49 clicks and 291% ACoS. That's probably something that we don't want active in our account. So to take action on this, all you have to do is on, again, those specific lines for the products that you want to pause, simply put paused in the state column, and then you're going to put update in the operations column. That's it. Download the file, upload to bulk operations, and all of those products will be paused in your account. So again, we're not clicking everywhere into every single campaign. We can simply analyze in one spreadsheet and take the actions. Here is one that I was actually surprised to find out. So bulk files are actually a really great way to optimize your VCPM sponsored display campaigns. So you might have heard that VCPM or pay per impression model sponsored display campaigns may not be contributing much to sales as originally thought. So the sales attributed on these ad types or campaign types are view attribution, which means somebody just has to see your ad, doesn't necessarily need to click on it. So there's a lot of people saying like, well, are these ads really viable? What we have found, these ads can work very well if you optimize them correctly. And a great way to do that is through bulk files. So actually I found this out by doing an analysis and account. I was looking in the bulk file and I'm like, why in the world are they spending so much on all of these VCPMs where there's like 100-something% ACoS? Here you get 300%, 400%. It's ridiculous, right? Well, I went into the ad console but the ad console was showing like 6%, 5%, 8%. Why would we not spend more on this? Well, the difference here is that your ad console is showing you view attributed sales, but your sponsored or your bulk file is actually showing you the click attributed sales, which is going to drastically change the performance metrics. So if you optimize off of bulk file performance metrics, you will actually be making correct optimizations. And the only other download you can find that will show you what the click attributed is at the campaign level. So bulk file is actually just for analysis or going to give you way more information. All right. We're going back to bulk operations. Again, you're going to want to analyze a specific date range here. So whatever date range you typically use for your optimizations, I would download that. 14 days, 30 days, something with a good amount of data. Check campaign items with 0 impressions, sponsored display data. And then you're going to go to the sponsored display campaigns tab. You're going to sort the entity. You're going to filter by contextual targeting or audience targeting. This is equivalent to, say, keywords in your sponsored product ads or other ad types. Then again, what you're going to do is you're going to analyze the performance metrics of these. So you can see here, I have one with 42 clicks and 0 sales. Probably something to take action on. All I have to do to take action on this is I'm simply going to adjust in this bid column the bid that I would like to have put on that, whatever that target is. Then I need to go to the operations column. I'm going to put update, again, only for the specific lines of the bids that I want changed. All I have to do is update this, and all of my bids have been optimized across all of my sponsored display campaigns, including aligning with whatever click attributed purchases are not the view attributed purchases, which means you'll be making much better decisions on these optimizations. All right, here's one that honestly, I don't think there's a really good scalable way to do this outside of bulk files, and the bulk file way is super duper duper easy. All right, so say you add an FBM SKU, right? You're like, my FBA is going out of stock all the time. I want to add an FBM SKU, so when the FBA goes out of stock, I can still advertise my FBM. You then have to go through, if you want to make sure that that switch occurs seamlessly when the FBM SKU wins the buy box, you have to go through and add that FBM SKU to all the places where you're advertising the FBA SKU. Easier said than done unless you know this trick. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to bulk operations. Date range may not matter here. We're probably not doing analysis. We're simply trying to find something. You're going to do campaign items with 0 impressions. You can do sponsored product ads and sponsored display ads here. Again, you can't easily swap out products with sponsored brand ads, so I would skip those. All right, you're going to either sponsored products or the sponsored display campaigns. And then all we have to do is in this SKU, here, so we don't have to worry about the entity column in this one. All we're going to do is find the SKU or the ASIN informational only, and we simply have to filter that SKU column to find the name of the FBA SKU. So remember, we're like, where are we advertising this one product? We want to switch it over to this product. This is also really, really great in accounts. There are certain accounts where they have expiration dates, and they're like, we have the new SKU coming in and we need to switch it out, right? This process will help you find that easy peasy. And all you have to do is once you've filtered for SKU 1, you simply have to replace that SKU in the SKU column with whatever the name of the new SKU is. And then this is important. All of this information, now don't delete the header, but all of the data that is in the ID columns for this SKU, you do need to delete that because that references the old one. We want to create a new one. And then here, instead of doing update, because these do not currently exist within our ad account, we need to specify create in the operations column. And then once we are done with that, upload it to our account, and all of those products will now appear and be able to be advertised in all of those campaigns wherever they may be, which is phenomenal. And if you know how to do this process, this workflow should take minutes. All right, getting there, almost there, adjusting placement percentages. This is one, I can't tell you how many accounts that I have assessed where I look at it, I'm like, why is this placement percentage still here, right? Like, this no longer makes sense. It's very easy to set up placements. It's very hard to methodically to go back and adjust them, but this makes it easy. All right, bulk operations again. Now we do want to make sure we probably download like a 30-day date range or again, long enough to actually make some analysis. Checking campaign items with 0 impressions, checking placement data for campaigns, and we do want to check sponsored products data because only sponsored products have placements. create our spreadsheet, download it, open it up. We're going to sponsored products. Then we're going to filter the entity column to show bidding adjustments. Our bidding adjustments is the placement percentages. Then what you need to do is you're going to filter. I recommend doing this. This campaign state informational only. You don't have to do this, but I would filter it by only enabled. What this will do is it will completely filter out any of your previously paused campaigns, because it's good to keep that information sort of archived and untouched so you know what the settings are, and only make adjustments to the things that are active. All right. Then we look at this placements column, which is going to show you top of search, product pages, and also rest of search now. So you can make these placement percentage adjustments on these. And then you're going to look at, of course, the performance metrics. So here you can see we have a 5% adjustment on something that has 116% ACoS. Probably does not make sense for us to keep a placement. We don't want to spend more on something that's losing us money. And so all you have to do is change this in this percentage column right here. So here you can say I'm putting to 0. Also, this changed a little bit in bulk files. The percentages are now like whole numbers. So this 30 represents a 30%. You wouldn't want to put 0.3, which would traditionally be a percentage. You're putting whole numbers to represent the percentages. And then all you have to do is on the lines where you made changes, make sure you put update in the operations column, and then go back into bulk operations, upload your file to enact the changes. Again, this is probably one of the most scalable ways I've found to look and adjust placement percentage. All right. I went through a lot. I know I speed ran that a little bit, but I did want to make sure that I didn't take up too much of your valuable time. So I just threw a ton of things at you. So I'm going to give you some key takeaways and action items, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, right? You're like, oh my gosh, here's all these things that I should be doing, right? My recommendation here is, out of all of the things that I just covered, I would figure out which neglected Amazon ad tests you've been putting off for far too long that you feel is going to make the biggest impact for you. So if you're like, I have not just placements, and I know I set up a bunch of random stuff a while ago, I should probably go QA that. Oh, there's that FBMCU that I've been meeting. Like, just think through what is going to be the most impactful item for you. I would download a copy of these slides, which I can make available, or I'm going to share a resource in a second, which is probably going to be even more valuable. And then third, of course, pick the thing, learn how to do the thing, and then use bulk operations to finally take action on those neglected portions of your account. And so the resource I'm going to give to you is, if you go to our YouTube channel, we're not as awesome as Orange Click. We only have a couple thousand subscribers. Working on that for sure. But we do have a resource for you. There is a playlist. It's called Bulk Files 2.0. That's a new version of stuff. And we have all of these in a video tutorial, along with a lot more things that you can do with bulk files.
All right. Thank you very much. And yeah, we will link this YouTube channel in the description later. So thank you very much for this. And we will invite Christian now. And see you later, Elizabeth, for the Q&A. And Christian, we have your presentation.
Yeah.
Please take it away.
Yeah, after knowing how to handle your ad console much more easily with bulk files, I want to try to spice up your bulk. So the first main information here, it's not for or against bulks, as we have heard it quite a few minutes ago. It's an absolutely cool addition to manage your ads, and you should know how to work with them, because they are really cool. But on the other side, we need to talk about some basics. Yeah, one of the most basics is, did you really know what attribution means on Amazon? So even with ad console or bulk files or tool, one of the biggest problems is ads versus sale. So that means at the end, you're advertising a specific product, but the customer is purchasing a different product, or buy it, or whatever you can call it. There are a lot of synonyms, as I'm SEO nerd, so don't get into that. I'm mixing up some words. But on the one side, on the left side, you see a 10-pack for $30. We are advertising it. And on the right side, you see a different portfolio of our account, 10-pack for $10. And the problem here is we are trying to advertise it, push the LEDs, push them with a €3 CPO. But we are seeing a really, really bad ACoS of 30%. That is coming, of course, to the problem of the purchase that is going from the ad €30 product to a complete different product. And you need to keep in mind that Amazon Attribution is accounting after the click for a different number of days all of your products from your brand. So that's one and only basic you have to keep in mind. With that, a lot of problems can occur. And the ad console and also the bulks will not help you with that. Of course, for example, you're using reprices. You will never ever reach your ACoS goal when you are changing the cart value for the customer all the time. Of course, as we said, on the one side, the customer can purchase different products from your brand. Amazon is attributing them. But on the other side, you can actively use reprisers and you're mixing up the cart value all the time. So you need to understand that. Absolutely. You need to go into that. On the other side, different scenarios, for example, conversion rate is changing. So the customer behavior is changing in Q4. Yeah, they are shopping more and more intense, but it's only related to the change of your portfolio. In that case, it's an Xmas calendar for Christmas, and you're seeing also that the cart value is changing. So keep in mind with all the data you are looking at, what is the reason why you're seeing such a behavior of your customer? Also, when it comes to variation, you're advertising the one and only top expensive product, everybody's clicking on it and then is purchasing the little cheap product in the variation. You will see it and you need to see it. And that only comes with data. And on the other side, one of the most funny things I have seen in the last weeks, the cart value is raising after Prime Day, all the coupons are gone, and then the CPC is going crazy up. Why? Of course, they didn't change their ACoS goals, but they changed the coupons to the normal price. No strike-through price anymore. The cart value is raising and the CPCs are running wide. Of course, we are just going directly on the CPC goal. And so that is one of the most problems we are seeing always, that you're looking on data, but you're not looking on the data. Yeah. And so Amazon came up with a cool idea 2 years ago. It's called Amazon Marketing Stream. Yeah, without needing to repeatedly call the API, they changed it to push. Yeah, you don't need to pull it, they push it, hourly based. And so you really get a lot of data. That is cool. Try to get your bulk files every hour. Yeah, you can do it. Of course, you have to build the differences. I think the lowest time frame is daily, I think. And so you don't see that data exactly like that. And when they are filled, they are absolutely crazy. Every hour directly connected to the sales, to the ad spend, impressions for each and every target. Woo! Yeah, you understand it. It's absolutely too much, okay? And the problem here is really, really easy. You only want to look for ACoS is bid divided through conversion rate multiplied with average price. That is the typical mathematically idea. And your bid is your goal ACoS multiplied with conversion rate and average price. For each and every target, that is really, really cool. But how is an hourly based data feed helping with that? It isn't. From my point of view, it isn't. Don't judge a book by its cover. Everybody knows it. And never judge an advertising hour without enough data. Also with the bulk files, also in the ad console. Yeah, try to figuring out what you are looking on. Okay, and what we are talking about here, solution part 1 is really, really easy. When you're opening your ad console for the first time, you will see no data. Of course, Amazon is then forcing you to add a date. Okay, after that, where you're saving the date you have entered, and when you're coming back, where you're just saving that. But in the first time, where is no ACOS course, the period under consideration is missing. Okay, and for our example, I have taken an ACOS goal of 20%, and we are looking in the data 14 days, and we are seeing 40% ACOS. That is bad. We have to change something, or we can just relax and use a period under consideration of 30 days. Oh no, it's okay, 32%, we don't have to change everything, only a few changes. Or, yeah, don't purchase data from Amazon or setting high bids for future data. Go back longer, 90 days. Let's have a look. 20% ACOS is the goal. 20% ACOS, we have directly reached that goal. Sorry for that mistake. The last one is 90 days. So make sure that you're looking at the accurate and same time frames when you're making up your decisions. That means you cannot take 30 days saying, okay, that is bad, I'm moving to 7 days, now it's looking good, or in the other way, and mix it up every day you are making decisions, or this week that may, or the next week a month, then half a year. Don't mix it up. Make sure you're using the same period under consideration. Also with your bulks, use the same time frames when you look in your data. On the one side, to solve it with bulks, spice up your bulks, save all your bulk files, build up your own time collection over it. Or with Amazon Marketing Stream, you have your data directly in your tool account, for example, our account, or wherever you are using the API. And then you can set look back windows for a period under consideration, or you can change it to optimize your ads on an absolutely next level. On the other side, solution part 2, really, really simple from my point of view, one of the biggest hidden gems in the Amazon Marketing Stream data. The period on the time period you need to consider a purchase. So your customer, not you as a seller or vendor or whatever. So our example is just about diapers and vacuum robots. Normally the customer behavior is, oh, I don't have any diapers. I have a problem. Go to Amazon, order them directly. Tomorrow you have them. You don't have a waiting time of 14 or 16, 20 days. For vacuum robot, it's more like, oh, it's interesting. I click on the ad. I maybe go in the internet, search for it, or go into the market. Maybe I have to wait for money. Yeah, or I have to ask my wife or husband, can I have a new vacuum robot? Or I want to wait until the next shopping event. So it's about the time between a click on the ad and the purchase. And that is crazy. You don't have that in the bulks. You don't have that in the ad console, but you have it in the Marketing Stream data. Attribution 1 day, 7 days, 14 days, or 30 days. And what does it mean? Why it is a hidden gem? Let's go into an example. Really simple, one target, 2,500 impressions, 150 clicks. The price for the product, $23. Hopefully it will not change over time, as we have talked before about it, and the ACOS goal of 22%. Really easy. First day, first data. Now we can bid 17 cents. That is okay. We can start with it, but we will wait 6 new days, the next day, and we will see new data behind it. And now we can set the bid to 24. And now you're finished. Sponsored product reports are done with that. And now the Amazon Marketing Stream data comes around with 14 days attribution. just one sale in 1 week, but over 10% higher biddings. When we are waiting 16 more days, we have adjusted now the bids to $27. We can bid $30. That is absolutely awesome. And just to make sure everybody understands that, I have an example for that. So you can choose what attribution you want to optimize for. Every of our clients is working with 30 days. Only the diapers coming with 1 day. Of course, they are saying we don't care about the days longer than 1 day attribution. But here you're seeing one client, his whole account has 45% more sales outside the 7-day standard attribution for sponsored products for better bidding decisions. That is crazy. Without changing anything in the account, only the attribution from 7 days to 30 days, he can spend more money and seeing better results for the same ACOS. And so that's the reason why we're talking about spice up your bulks. Of course, as we have heard before, the ad console is, bulks are crazy, as you can imagine, endless possibilities. But with a marketing stream combined with the bulks, you have an explosion of best possible imaginary ads you can just imagine about. So we are going into the third solution, really simple. Here we only have to talk about target ACOS versus goal ACOS. I'm not talking about TACOS. That's why I've said target ACOS. That just means the mathematically average. That is the blue one you can see here. That's the hockey stick, yeah? And the goal ACOS. We decided to only steer the ads of our clients exactly for goal ACOS. That means we are managing every target by itself for the given ACOS goal and not the account on average. That means we are not investing money in wrong keywords with absolutely high ACOS, normally with, so high search volume, I have to pay the high bids to be where, to have sales where. We are not focusing on such things. On the other side, we are not leaving potential behind. Yeah, the hockey stick has normally one problem. It has to just make sure that you have both the most expensive ones, high ACOS keywords, and the low ACOS keywords. We are focusing, as you see on the orange slots, on the exact ACOS. And at the end, you can decide what you want. Also in the bulk sheets. In the bulk sheets, normally you see it in every row, and you can decide if you want to achieve your goals, or like in the hockey stick, only in 0.6% of 8,300 targets were exactly on the correct ACOS goal. So what is the average? What is your goal? Are you optimizing for whole average or for each and every keyword? And that is much more easier when it comes to Amazon Marketing Stream. Really simple. Of course, we have hourly data, or to say it in bulk words, yeah, you have one row per target. That's the idea behind it. But for a whole account, absolutely, you need to achieve specific goals for each area and each and every target, for your portfolios, for launch, for attack, brand protection, push campaigns. But you don't want a specific hockey stick for each and every segment. You want to make sure every row in your bulks or every target is absolutely managed on the goal. Then we have also a fourth part. The idea was here to talk, last but not least, not only about Marketing Stream, but also talk about negative keywords. Of course, you have heard it before. Just push replay and hear the awesome slides again, or presentation. Negative keywords, really easy to work on with bulks. If your tool, your advertising tool, maybe has not a cool workaround. We have a cool workaround for it, but sometimes you want to work with it really specific, as I'm showing you here with that example, and then bulk is absolutely simple to use for. From my idea, you need to split negative targets into performance and real negative targets. Really simple example. You're seeing a ring, you're seeing ring, and you're seeing a bracelet. So that's the idea behind it. And both of that keywords or targets as keywords or products appeared in your search term reports. And for ring for women, yeah, you're setting ring as negative. It sounds stupid, but you're setting ring as negative. And also bracelet. But the reason is the thing we need to talk about. Real negative target ring, course to the brand Ring. Amazon has its own brand. We have purchased it, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago for 1 billion. Really, really cool, but I don't want to be shown there with my ring for women under the keyword ring. I'm losing money. That's a real negative target. The bracelets are normal negative keyword. That means the performance is not as good as I wanted, but it's not an absolutely wrong keyword. Of course, when we are thinking of cross-selling, it's a fit. A ring and the bracelet, perfect fit. We have to keep that in mind. Of course, that is the reason why we never, ever should kill a good target. A good target. Real negative keywords, set them up, get them out of your content, get them out of your account. You don't want to be shown where. It's absolutely a no-go keyword. But the bracelets, for example, you should keep them alive somehow, somewhere. When you're setting a keyword negative course to performance, make sure you have a specific campaign where these keywords are still alive and can make sure that you can see the changes, for example. What we are talking here is really, really simple. Of course, when the customer behavior is changing, the behavior for that keyword bracelet is maybe changing to a positive way. On the other side, competition. Yeah, you have different competitions under the bracelet for that time. That's the reason why you have bad results. When the competition is going away, out of stock or whatever, you want to see your ads running on that keyword. Also, conversion rate can change, etc., etc. And the problem is you need to make sure that all that changes over time are shown in your data when you keep that negative targets for a little amount of money still alive, so you can make sure that you can react to that changes. So keep your negative keywords alive somewhere in your account. And one of the easiest ways is to work with the bulks. Yeah, not every tool, agency, freelancer is absolutely into it, but you can work with them directly with your bulks and just set them negative, but directly put them in one campaign to keep them alive. So that's the idea. So let's talk at the end about the summary. As I said at the beginning, it's not for or against bulks. With Amazon Marketing Stream, you have more and more data. Some of them you will never see in Ad Console or bulks, but when you combine it and set your mindset in the correct way, for example, period under consideration, that you're always looking on the same time frames, or when you know, I need the tool for the ACOS attribution, but I will manage my ads, my negative targets, and many more with the bulks. You combining everything together. It's the perfect fusion. Yes, Dragon Ball Z lines. So at the end, it's about making better decisions. So thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. And we will invite Elizabeth back to the stage. Hello, Elizabeth, once again. Before we move on with a few questions, I wanted to mention that this Seller Session, Seller Fest Online virtual event was done in cooperation with 40 different experts, and they helped us to create a VIP package, which we set up, and the link you will find below in the description to get access to it or to read more about it. And in this package, we have 40 additional videos with every expert which is speaking at the event. and they're providing additional video which is not going live on YouTube on our channel, and this is exclusive content, most of them recorded just for this package. And I wanted to ask Elizabeth, what did you share in your video? I know it's another 53 minutes. So,
I know that you were like, I was told, and I was like, oh, how about 30 minutes? I said, I have a really great PPC mini conch. Like,
cool.
basically, if you watch that, you'll be able to build the best launch possible for your brand. But I was like, it's longer than 30 minutes. And so I was told, they're like, it sounds like really great content. Okay, like we'll roll with this. You guys were gracious
Yeah.
enough to let me share that. But yeah,
Amazing.
that's the most extensive. I get asked about launching all the time, how to leverage Amazon ads to launch. And the thing that I find is that every single launch strategy I have run across is not bad, but nobody talks about tailoring a launch strategy to your specific goals and your budget. And that's why a lot of new sellers, they end up launching, you follow the checklist, you set up your ads, you go through, you launch it, and then you spend thousands of dollars and freak out and pause it and think you got something wrong. It's not that you got anything wrong. It's that you weren't taught how to look at your ad strategy, let alone launches, through the lens of what should I be doing given my products, given my cash flow, given my business. And so that's what I tried to bring in that little mini course.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And Christian, what did you send to us? It was another 14 minutes of content.
Yeah, my idea was to go into a topic that nobody is really giving insights. Everybody's trying to make money with a brand store as a normal thing for agency. Yeah, we will build a brand store. It's so easy to build a cool brand store, and everybody's talking about content. Everybody's missing about data. Everybody is talking about PPC, but everybody is missing that nearly 10 or 20% of the customers is clicking on your brand store and going into it. And when it's just shitty content, you will see bad results. And I really love to talk about different topics offsite from my normal working, and so I decided to go with a brand store because I really like the way Amazon is giving us opportunities to build an own advertising free website, and everybody is like, yeah, push the money and the budget into PPC, but the customer then is going into your store and they are normally looking like crap.
Amazing. Thank you very much. It's a lot of value from both speakers and from 35 plus more speakers. So you will find the link below in the description. And now let's take a few questions. So Arun is asking, what is the eligibility to get marketing stream data? Oh, actually, let's start with the first one about marketing stream. What is it exactly and what ways you can use it?
Yeah, Amazon Marketing Stream is offered by Amazon. You have to be certified, Amazon Ads partner and all that stuff. So it's not normally free for every seller. It's you have to go through a process and so on. So the easiest way is to figuring out which tools are offering the connection to Amazon Marketing Stream. It sounds crazy, but Amalyze is the worldwide biggest user of Amazon Marketing Stream data. So yeah, you have a problem without us. But yeah, just figuring out who has a connection to it, and then you have to connect your ad API, and then you can go into the details. But only the details won't help you. Of course, you need manageable ads behind it, for example, as an advertising tool. So it's not free for every seller.
Yeah, so eligibility is like not for everyone.
Yeah, like Amazon Marketing Cloud is the same problem. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the bulk operations. So Elizabeth, how to effectively use bulk operations to quickly adjust bidding strategies across multiple campaigns without like risks?
Without risks, don't use up and down. You'll be fine.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very simple actually. bidding, I'm assuming they mean campaign bidding strategies. I'm assuming.
Yes.
If you mean bids, drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'll clarify that. But it's really, really easy. All you have to do is go into sponsored product campaigns. You would want to filter the entity column for campaign. Bidding strategies are set at the campaign level. You go over, you should be able to see all the bidding strategies. You simply change that to whatever bidding strategy you want. Recommendations here is just copy, like find a campaign with the bidding strategy you want and then copy it because the formatting has to be 100% correct. Update it in the operations column, upload it. So it's easy to change it, again, at scale. Without risking overspending, just don't use up and down. You'll be fine.
Great. Thank you. And Chris, I have a question for you. How should sellers review and update their negative keywords list? How often?
That is a crazy question. Of course, we are working with a specific system for it. Let's talk. Let's name it relevant period under consideration. Of course, Amazon Marketing Stream Data, or when you're looking every day or every week in it, you will see a lot of keywords with different performances. But only because one keyword has a bad performance, it doesn't mean that's absolutely negative keyword. You have to arrange the time frames to see if it's really, really negative keyword and why you want to set it as negative. We are working here over normally 30 days, 2 weeks. We need to make sure at the end that not only one data point or one day is coming with negative data, for example, Prime Day. Yeah, you will see a lot of keywords you normally would set on negative, but only course to Prime Day, you will kill all bad keywords for the rest of the year where they are performing. So the problem here is really to decide and look on into the time, the period under consideration. You're looking for that keyword. Don't ever judge a keyword by 1 hour, 1 click, 1 sale, whatever, and only course to a bad ACOS, figuring out what is the reason behind it, about what time. And so how often you should update your negative keyword list. Absolutely in the same time frame. Normally you are optimizing your ads, not when you're optimizing it hourly. And you have to figure out what is the best way. Of course, not every negative keyword or possibility negative keyword comes with the same happenings. 1 click, 2 clicks, 10 clicks. I don't want to work with rules, but you have to figuring out what's the perfect time and keep a longer window to make better decisions in that case.
Great. Thank you very much. And Elizabeth, another question about bulk operations. Any advice on using bulk files when adjusting bids in order to react to seasonal trends or sudden market changes?
Good question.
It's just the same, yeah.
Yeah, so the difference you would want to adjust for here is date ranges. That is, I'll be honest, the one downside of bulk files is the fact that you have to look at one static date range. But if you know what you're doing on date ranges, right, you want to react sudden market changes, means what's happening right now. So you simply want to download a bulk file that's going to contain the data for what's happening right now. Also, good recommendation when it comes to bulk files is eliminating today's date, because as we all know, today's data is not up to date. So you don't want to include that in your bulk file because you can lead you to make incorrect decisions. Best case scenario, you would at least eliminate probably about 48 hours from your date ranges. But that being said, if you're reacting quickly, you might have limited amounts of data. And so you would want to adjust for that.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, I think we're good. Exactly 1 hour of the session. I will want to part with you by introducing your websites. So Elizabeth, can you give us an overview what people can find on your website, and yeah, what do you serve? How do you help them?
Yeah, definitely. So we help you manage ads in a way that's going to make the most sense for your business to get where you want to go within the constraints that you want. So you focus on profitability, you focus on sales growth. Those two opposing factors are going to completely change your ad strategy. That's why when I was saying like, hey, curate your product launches by what your brand can afford, by your cash flow, by what you can do, that's what we focus on it as an agency, because it's not necessarily that one strategy is right or wrong. It's, is it the right strategy for you? And that's what we help brands figure out, and then we help them execute it. And as far as our website, actually, if you go up there to resources and you click on the live, I'm going live every single Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on the Q&A part. Yep.
Okay.
So I went live today. Went live with some other friends, doing a lot of lives, doing this live today. I think I had 3 lives today. And
wow.
so I'm going live and on our YouTube channel, streaming on all platforms, and I basically show up for an hour and answer your Amazon ad questions. So
Yeah, you
a
just
lot of
streamed 2 hours
resources.
ago. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. And Analyze, Christian, can you tell us? I have actually 2 landing pages, so I don't know which one is like.
Yeah, absolutely. We are not working with a website. We are working with mouth-to-mouth propaganda normally, and what we have is our YouTube channel where we are live normally Tuesday and Thursday. I had also a stream today. Of course, in European it is 10 hours ago. So our idea is normally you're coming with your problem, you're coming with your question, and we are saying, yeah, we can solve that problem with that or that tool or function, or we are not into that, don't try it. So our main topic here is we have a 14-day free trial, so you can directly go into our tool. You will find an English video which is showing what you can do here, what you're finding here. And our idea really is making better decisions with data, but we need your problem. We are not typically the chief in the kitchen saying it has to be that and how it is working. We don't need that copy-paste scenarios. We are more into figuring out your problem and building a solution for your business.
And I would like to show your YouTube channel. Is it only in German or you have in English as well?
No, we also have an English one. When you're scrolling completely down to the bottom, you will find the English channel directly linked on it. Yeah, absolutely at the end. Yeah. Where we have Emma News is the monthly news with all the English topics, and of course, yes, session with you, yes, and we have our normal videos which are also in the tool to make sure everybody understands how to use the tool.
Great. And actually, we have another question about negative keywords. Atif is asking, do you think if we have if the negative entire keyword is a negative exact, that may disrupt the overall performance of the campaign, considering those ST must be root keywords that are super relevant to us? Search term.
Yeah, search term, yeah.
So, did you understand the question? Is probably the person was in rush to type because we said we're closing the session?
Yes, I understand it. When you set a negative keyword that is important for you as negative, yes, the performance of the keyword will miss in your campaign.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And that was great having you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now I would like to invite you to watch other video where 2 other PPC specialists are talking about how you can use data which you can get from brand analytics to better adjust your PPC campaigns and use this data for your strategies. So check this out.